our poses. And I'd love to finish them if we can. I'll check the list and see what's not there or what's not finished yet. Okay. Okay, so as you could also feel, going back to the fish pose, just some closing notes on that. As you could also feel in the fish pose, it's a very strong contraction in the back. So if you're already dealing with back spasms, it's one that you don't want to deal with. So another one, because it could tighten and trigger spasm more if someone's in active spasm. Sometimes they come to class to try to relieve it, but just let them know. And as a person that I've had active back spasms for most of my life, can confirm. I would try to stay away from some of those like really contracting and also the sideways contracting, so like side crunches, ones like that. The other for back spasm contraindication, just poses generally, was the seated forward fold, because it can put pressure right where thoracic spine, like when I'm rounding forward, it can put pressure right where the thoracic spine starts. And for a lot of people, that like the middle back is where spasm lives in that erector spinae. So the overstretching could be contraindicative if you're in back spasm, but then the overarching. So too much that way, too much that way. We want to try to like keep the movement. We want to keep movement. So like waving movement to the side is really good for that. And a little bit front and back, like the spinal waves, but maybe just not as wavy, and just like try to keep it again contained and protected. But for a lot, now going back to fish, for a lot of variations, I use the blocks. And some people, if they want even more lift, you can put 2 blocks. So 2 blocks is like your way up. You can also do, we'll do like a shavasana at the end. Let me make a note. And then we'll try that in our relaxation when we end today. All right, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Half shoulder stand.
One, four, five.
All right. So look at this little shape. So we can clearly see some contraindications in action right now. This was one the kids in gymnastics call candlestick, half shoulder stand, or Ardha Salamba Sarvangasana. So this one can be an extension of the plow pose, which we don't have in the lexicon, but it is a pose. I'll show you both of them. I'll show you plow. I'm not gonna like break it down because it's not in our lexicon, and it's one that has a ton of contraindications. Super. So just to show you what I'm talking about here, and then they go. So that's the plow pose, and often people will go into that. So super contraindicative for most bodies. If it's a big body at all, not going to happen. Yeah, it can really stretch the low back, but it can really aggravate sciatica also because it's just so extreme. It also puts a lot of pressure on the neck. It puts a lot of pressure right here where I'm bending quite strong. So my face is squished, my stomach is squished. I usually bring my knees on my head for this one. And I'm really stretching here in my thoracic spine, like the broad line. So that can be, again, really intense if people have back spasm. So see, I'm really trying to roll one vertebrae at a time back down and take it from there. So that's the plow pose, and they usually are kind of like sequentially. So for this one, it's also one that you could encourage people to lay against the wall. The opposite to this, or the counter stretch to this, as mentioned before, was the fish pose, because we're like, let's look at the shape. We're like this with our toes pointed up, right? So we're like this. So the opposite of that shape is the shape we just made in the fish, which is going up, up, up. So you could bookend, or you could add, after you do it, some forward and back movement for the spine, so it can just kind of like not be overstretched in either direction. And again, this is an area of the back that most of the population has underdeveloped strength inside. Let's see. Yeah, this is one you could encourage if you had like a large percentage of your class that was like not gonna do it. This is when I would put them legs against the wall. If they want the benefits of an inversion, that's an inversion where the legs are above the head. This is when I would just put them into the wall. And then people have a hard time sometimes getting into legs against the wall. So what I do is I tell them, so just come so you're like super beside the wall, and then just like lay beside the wall, and then come up and then push yourself away like that. So then you're like close to the wall as you can, and they can experience the benefit from there. And if they're feeling adventurous, they can start to use the wall like that. And it's also hamstring engagement. And they can just take it up a little bit. But to be honest, most people are more than happy to stay like this and experience the inversion without the inversion stress. So if we're going into it, does require some ab work, does require some back strength. And then look, my neck is going to be in this position, super flattened. So it is stressful for the back of the neck. Remember the curve of the spine? It curves back naturally. So our spine rounds here. How it rounds here, it rounds back that other way. So you can see on our friend. So just we're doing the opposite of the neck curve here, the opposite, super opposite of the natural curve of the spine. So if I'm going into the half shoulder stand, I'm going to come down onto my back, walk the elbows in, and then I'll just bring my knees up. I'm going to bring my hands so they can hold my hips and support my hips. From this, I'm going to just use the strength of my abs to bring my legs up and press into the floor back. Bring my body almost through the plow. Hold my hips as I extend the legs up. So it's like I come forward a bit, and then I come back, and I bring the elbows in. And then I'll go, and I'll try to straighten up my legs like there's strings taking my toes to the ceiling. So we don't want to be like sleeping. Squeeze. So how we were engaging the quads earlier, like that. And then I'm going to watch the rise and fall of my belly. And then when you're ready to come down, I bring my knees down and I'll try to roll slowly into that position. You can let them rock a little bit, or you can then take them directly into the fish, which is the counter pose. So if you have any questions about your neck, there's no need to do it. Avoid pressure on the neck. So if you want to check and see, but like even I'm pretty bendy, and even I feel like where my thoracic spine and my cervical spine meet, it was like stressing, like pulling it apart from there. Roll from side to side. Oh, that's after. So anyway, you can bring knees to chest, do all those neutralizing leg ones, and bring it back. Yeah, gently press when you're in the full up position, pointing. And again, like you have strings on your toes pulling you to the ceiling. You're gently pressing the back of your head into the floor. So that's kind of like when we do our full stability in our feet. That's our base point and connected to the floor. And also the arms, the backs of the triceps technically, are pressing down into the floor. Yeah, hold the pose and breathe smoothly. The last line, it says, let legs play if so desired. So a little note on that. What does that mean? If I want to like bicycle my legs or take them to the side, whatever I'm doing is, it's not flopping them. It's like engaged. So if I want to do my detailed ankle circles there, you can, or just make sure it's nothing that makes you feel like you'll fall from side to side. I definitely had students in class that like fell sideways. They were being a little too adventurous, or maybe they didn't set themselves up with a solid base and their balance just took them. And they're like, and you're like, you know, no bad injuries occurred, thank God. But, you know, it's like way to like stop your heart in your chest when a student has like a little issue like that. Yeah, keep the weight spread more across your upper back and arms to avoid that strong pressure on the neck. So like I said, we're pretty much here. If we take our hands behind and pull ourselves down, you're here. But adding all of your body weight on it, you know? So go easy with the half shoulder stand. It's one that you can leave out of your repertoire. If you want to get, you know, I encourage everyone to practice everything, but like this one has very clear contraindication. So the legs up the wall are a great solution if you want that inversion life, or you can roll up into it and not stay so long. Just go up and just don't stay for the full 4 breaths. Just and like pay attention. Don't put yourself through it like a jail sentence suffering. Yeah, don't suffer through it like that. Yeah. Bring the hands down. Exhale slowly while unrolling the spine. So when you're in that position breathing, like I said, I'm looking at my stomach and I'm going to see it like moving. It's really, really extremely hard to breathe in that position because you're just like everything's. You might even get that, like that snoring noise when you tuck like this and try to pull in, and it's normal. So yeah, so coming out of it, like that variation, bringing the knees towards the forehead, but upside down. And then slowly unrolling the spine. So it says stay in a tight ball and then slowly kind of come down out of that. So the variations for people with heavy hips, large breasts, which may inhibit their breathing. So think about someone with more weight in their body or really big boobs. It's pretty much going to be like this on their face when they're upside down. So they could do lie down beside the wall, like that one that I showed you, legs up at the wall. Legs up the wall is really lovely to do anyway, not just as an option for not being able to do this. It's very nice. And it's great for lymphatic drainage. And then that also you can lift by placing the feet on the wall, rolling up slightly. Yeah, you can also, to lift the lower body more, you could place a couple of cushions or blocks under the hips. That one might be a little more difficult for people to get into. So this gives them more lift even. So then the upper body is even more down and they can stay. So cushions, something hard. The blocks may or may not work. This one's not too bad. And then being here, resting, breathing is another option. And to be honest, You could create a whole legs up the wall sequence to replace this, and your students will love you for it. Let's see. Breathe smoothly. Remove one leg from the wall at a time by bringing the knees to the forehead. So that there would be contraindications like the ones before that. Again, if it's a bigger body, just kind of let them go to the side, like going up from the side and going down from the side, and not bringing the stuff, their legs onto their body. So the benefits, it's considered to be the queen of the postures. So in yoga postures, they say the queen of the postures, and they call the king of the postures the full headstand. The full headstand is, so many people do it before they have strength to do it. If you're not able to hold plank for 5 minutes, don't do it. You don't have the strength to do it. So most people get super, super, super jazzed, and they're like, I'm so excited, yoga, I'm going to do my headstand. And then they're like, I injured myself every time. So if you are not able to perform a pretty good measurement, again, think of it, if it's the king and queen of the poses, all the other poses are kind of the levels before, if you want to think of it that way. Another option, if you're like, I really want to try it, have a spotter with you. Be careful practicing alone for that, because really what the main problems are is people lose their balance and fall sideways, hit themselves off of something, move too fast to try to recover themselves, and tweak their neck at that time because there's pressure and weight on the neck, and often the alignment wasn't on. But pretty much like think about doing headstand as like you just spent a whole class in ballet at the bar, and that really like strong length that you're doing in ballet, you're going to turn that upside down on your head. You know what I mean? So when you feel that strength, that's when you go into that. It is not essential to practice yoga to do the handstand. When I first came here to Egypt, I was checking like, what's the yoga scene like? And I'm seeing like all these guys, acro guys, doing handstands everywhere. And I was like, is this what they're doing in yoga in Egypt? I was like, whoa. And then I was looking closely, and they were only doing that. And then I started to like know some of the people personally, and here's the shoulder injuries. Here come the shoulder injuries. So, they will do the handstand and go up, which is part of my practice to do it. I do it against a wall. I love to do front flip. I work on back walkovers, for my own stuff. So I don't stay away from all like upside down adventurous ones, but I do know people's bodies really well, and most people have no business being in this shape for their own safety. So any type of upside down or inversion is going to bring a more flush to your skin. They say it's like a fountain of youth, my teachers called it, because flushing, bringing blood to the brain and to the skin helps a lot, helps veins, helps what's the other one, lymphatics, because the lymphatics doesn't have, especially if you're doing like how we did our little jumps or our bounces this morning and then go into a legs up the wall, really, really nice. Restores your vital energy, brings inner calm, relieves prolapsed organs, improves shapes of spine, relieves ordinary headaches, stimulates abdomen. So even though this says benefits, I've been with students who have had all of these as contraindications, or they've said the opposite, So just keep in mind that the benefits are often general, and there's a lot of room for individuality, like so much room, like the whole globe worth. So contraindications, usually if there's anything, head and neck. Say if you have any whiplash, head and neck, bulge discs, especially the discs, khalas, you don't need to just do legs up the wall. The uncontrolled or unregulated high or low blood pressure for this one could be quite, and ear infection or sinus infection, because again, just that downward feeling of the fluid. What was one? I just thought of something, but I was finishing reading this. Maybe it will come back. Sometimes in menstruation, the precautions is better not to raise the pelvis above the head, is what they say. So teaching tips is students need to build core strength to have a controlled release down. So again, it's coming like where that strength comes from. Check your strength. Can I do plank? Do your plank challenge. And do lots of hara warm-ups today. So today was the first time hara warm-ups at the beginning of class. That was the first time I introduced those kind of fists of fire or also hara warm-ups. So they call that, and we kind of squeeze the butt and bring the pelvis forward, and it brings more intentionality and strength to our exhale and our breath. So you can do a lot of those warm-ups at the beginning of each class. That will engage their breath, and then it will also engage the glutes, which I'm squeezing while I'm there. Yeah, pressure of people, you know that like I always think of like a British guy when I think of this, but like because they drink a lot, stereotypically, you know, and they have these bulging, their eyes are bulging.
Yeah.
You know, that bulging eye, don't get him to do the, don't put him, like the eye will like, will pop out. Don't get him to do, so if you see, you know, because you can tell your students the contraindications, but they may not see it in themselves. You know what I mean? And be like, oh, do you, you know, and then what you can do is you have to like hint politely to try to let them know, maybe you shouldn't try this one. Like, I mean, people with alcoholism do go to yoga actually. So like the people with the super red nose and the bulging eyes, that it's clear alcoholism, try to keep them out of this shape. It will, like, who knows what will happen, but they already have so much pressure in the body from that. So just like look at people, try to see, do they fit the contraindications? You're like, oh, it's a nightmare. You know, what do I do now? You know, because people come in all shapes and sizes and conditions. When they find themselves in your class, and you're gonna be like, what do I do now? You know, and like you gotta just go with it, you know. So you know, it's really nice if you can like select who's in your class, like your target audience, but that takes a while to build. Yeah, no British alcoholics in upside down poses. Any questions for this one, or going upside down in general, or the putting yourself in this shape in general?
I think we should explain the whole pose before demonstrating it, right?
Yeah. You can, but at the same time, you don't want to take so long in your class explaining. So you're like, okay, this next pose, we're going to do it's an inversion. So we go up, we tilt ourselves upside down. Right there, you see the reaction of your student going. They might be like, upside down now, period. So then you can be like, and now I'll, you know, this, watch my neck. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to demo it for you, and just watch my neck. If this looks scary or dangerous to you in any way, I have some variations for you. You then, going forward, you can show them first variation, legs up the wall. So say this is one that you can do. This is step one. And step forever if you want to keep it step forever. And then let me show you the final version of the pose. And then you can demonstrate it for them that way. But yeah, give them option one at first, so they don't have this like feeling that they suck and they can't do yoga. Be like, here's option one. This is so great and comfortable. And then now let me demonstrate the final form of the pose for anyone that wants to be there, and for anyone that doesn't have any contraindications such as neck, high blood pressure, this and this. So you list why, if you should exclude yourself, because you want them to exclude themselves from it. You don't want to tell them what they can and can't do, even if you can clearly see, you know. But maybe there's like some old lady comes to your class and she just is like rocking it. You have no idea of her history, you know. So maybe we profiled her and we're like, oh, this old lady's not, you know. But yeah, so you tell them the benefits, the advantages and disadvantages, and then they can decide, you know. And then if someone's very stubborn and they're still going to try it, even though it's clearly unsafe for them, you'll be like, oh, did you need some extra help getting into that? Or would you like to explore another shape for your body, you know? So then it's not going to be like, no, 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 don't do that, you know? Unless like, I would never do that in a yoga class unless I saw someone clearly doing something so dangerous. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'd be like, whoa, 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 you know? I'm trying to think of any times in a class I've had to do that. Whirling class, not yoga class. And then I'm like, go for it. Did you see that influencer that's in Egypt? Maybe he's gone now. This I Show Speed guy. So he did the tenora and he fell over.
Oh, yeah,
I was like, I was like, that's so funny.
How do you guys do that?
How are they do? Yo, how are you doing that? Yeah. Wow, Egypt's not for the beginners. I feel like I don't know who that celebrity is at all. I feel like he's very obnoxious, but I feel like his energy was super matching Egypt. Like any crazy weird thing that they threw at him, which Egypt does a lot, he was just in it. Like, so I was like, that's cool. You're really like enjoying your experience. But yeah, so I would, if I saw someone doing that in my workshop, I would get them to stop. Mainly for the safety of other people. Yeah, you know, so it's not, when you have your class, it's like everyone's safety you can consider, and everyone, like, you know, they're in your hands, but then they have everyone else in the class with them. So, you know, you don't want anyone touching anyone or like bothering anyone, you know, and so that's also something to manage. Managing people is difficult, you guys. It can be a super joy. It can be super like invigorating, giving you energy, but also you can be like, these.
I think they're from like teaching, like being in your own body, teaching, and also managing the class and scanning the class.
I've been doing it for 20 years, so I just like live in this hypervigilant state. I live in a hypervigilant state of fight or flight all the time. It's not a joke. Help me, someone. Yeah, no, it's not a joke. Yeah, no, it's yeah, you're just getting used to it, and yeah, just being present. That's the answer. Yes, being present. So when I'm present and I'm not somewhere else, like when I went into my rage and I was like, I'm not present, you know, because I was like raging and I realized I wasn't talking anymore. And I was like, I'm somewhere else. Like, I got to go back to this twist. Like, I'm in the seated sage twist and I'm not there, you know? So it's just like noticing when you're present. Again, doing that breathe, relax, feel, watch, allow. That becomes like, as you practice and as you practice and you practice from a book or a system, you practice these ideas, you practice these concepts, and then they become integrated into your body. So now you're like, oh, I have this to remember and this to remember and this, not forever. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you focus in these next months and you really like apply yourself and be honest with yourself and like want it, you won't have to think so hard later. This hard thinking, you'll get it over with. So it's like, I, you know, can very proudly and strongly say, I'm very good at getting things done that I don't want to do, you know, and that's because I want to get them done. I want to have it finished. And I know I've had enough experiences now that I know if I can put myself through that, where I have procrastination and resistance, that I will level up. It will go into my library of my skills and what I have. So yeah, just I call it going into the tunnel. Like when you're studying or when you're, I'm like, this weekend I'm in the work tunnel. Like things, I'm like, don't bother me right now. Don't do this. And even I was squeezing things in, like the cleaner, because I want that things done. And then as soon as it was a small inconvenience to me, I'm like, get, like a get. So you become really good at not scrambling. You're just like, this is my pace. You get to know your pace really well. And anything that doesn't suit your pace, get. And you get really good at that. When you're younger, generally, just as people, as women, you have to go through like a few, like, I don't want to say like heartbreaks, but heartaches and annoyances. And then you're just like, that doesn't work for me, you know? And so a lot of times we're like hoping that the other party or whatever, the other person will just be cool. But then you realize with experience, sometimes doesn't always happen. So it's just learning when to remove something when it doesn't work for you. But I always joke, I always tell people, I'm like, it's more of a do as I say, not as I do. I don't recommend anyone to live my life. I love my lifestyle, my own self, but I don't recommend it for anyone. Like, it's not like, it's stressful a little bit, but I have a lot of tools. So yeah, it's, yeah, exactly, managing. Or it's like when you take people to the pyramids and you're their guide, and then you're like, yeah, guys, the pyramids are great. And then you're like, ah, on the other side, like it's having this split personality kind of in a way, and being able to distance yourself from that. But yeah, the work works, Yani, and then it's gonna show up. You're gonna understand what you know. Probably not in teaching a yoga class. It's gonna be in like a daily interaction, like something from your training. You're gonna use it because it's not just practicing and learning. This is like this is the dry stuff. Like really, what we were doing yesterday, that's where all the value is, all that philosophy and the thinking and the liberation, you know, because short, we want to liberate ourselves from the confines, the bindings of the body, the confines and the restriction and oppression of emotions, and all these prisons that we put ourselves into. So that's like when the yoga works, not only are you going to walk like more freely and proudly and your body feels better and you feel stronger, that's a side effect, but also how you manage your emotions and how you manage everything is another, you know, is another side effect. And it's so difficult to put that into words. You know, it's so difficult to put that into words. I'm like, just wait and see. And it might be years, guys, before you're like, you know, because it takes experience, it takes how the pace of your life, everyone's life, and yeah, so it just takes time. But yeah, that's when I say like, dive in now while you have the chance. Like, yeah, dive in while you have the chance. Let's do one more pose for today, the gate pose. Actually, two more because it's like 1.5. The gate and the half circle. We're on page 138. And then another note on that, I will say something that keeps us present, like how do you stay present? Because I was like, the answer is staying present, is curiosity. Is if you want to know, it's going to happen. So sometimes you're like, I just can't, I'm checking out, bye-bye. But yeah, if you're really curious to see where, that's how I can stay present, is because I want this like stream of existence, of reality. I want to see what happens, you know? So a lot of times when people are like, I don't know, like they don't realize that's when we're not present, is we're not going to see what happens. We're in the past, or we're in the future, or we're in some other, and we're not allowing that to come to us. So yeah, stay curious. All right. I look so stoked in this picture. So I look very happy. No. So again, so this pose, coming down onto the knee, often this is the contraindication right there, is just being on the knee. So for some people, being on the knee period is just not a vibe for them. And even if it doesn't hurt for you, some people are extremely, extremely sensitive in their knees, and they might need padding, blanket, pillow, something, double up the mat. So we start kneeling for this one, and with the hands on the hips, hip distance apart the knees, and I'll take one leg out to the side. So the foot in the picture, and what I'm doing right now, is I have the sole of my foot down. It doesn't have to be that way. I can turn it also, but I'm really trying for this like warrior one hip, of my hips forward. So for me, when I go like this, I kind of like turn. So in order for me, in my alignment, to keep my hips forward, for me, it's this leg this way. And I'm getting a pretty great stretch in that sartorius muscle, that overlapping quad. And then I'm here holding. So holding here and breathing, all of our same points that we're thinking when I'm standing here. As I curl my tail down, I'll feel more of a pull in my hamstring and along that back adductor. And so here in hold, lengthening up from the crown of the head, you can bring your arms into that same energy as back bend arms, squeezing. But you can also stay a little loose also. So lengthening upward from the crown of the head and holding and breathing. When you're ready to release this one, I simply like release from my hips and I bring my hands to the floor and I'll bring that leg in. You can even yin style where you help yourself bring in, because after you put that strong stretch on the inner thigh, it just feels a little weak. So you can try to bring it in or you can have it. So now, if I go on the other side, I'm going to combine it with the half circle. So I'm going to the other side. I'm prepping. I did my knee prep. Another note for the back foot. This works for me, but maybe it doesn't work for someone else. Being like that is okay. Being turned sideways is okay. Being turned in. Usually just let their foot go where it goes naturally, for most things. And if they're like, doesn't matter for the foot, be like, is your foot comfortable right now? And they say yes, say time in. Say like, just explore what works well for your foot, where it goes naturally. So when I have one leg extended and I'm lengthening upward, I'm holding, squeezing, bringing the pelvis forward. From here, I have my hand. When I take it into the half circle, I'm taking it over and I'm going to look towards that foot and hold. So when I'm in this stretch, it's stretching more in the adductor and my side waist, but more in the adductor. So and then I'm holding. Again, you can turn your head. Here you can use the two panes of glass analogy. So like you don't want people going like this forward and you don't want them like reaching back like that, but just like keeping those two circles stacked, tuck, 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 on top of one another and reaching like this. All the same thing. So once we get the arm up, you'll be like, check the press points of the shoulders, pull that elbow back, keep the sternum pointing towards the front. So that's a really good one if people are closing a little bit, because they'll get lazy. If it's there for them, you can say now, when we're in the half circle, you're able to slide this hand down the leg if it's there for you. That's going to put more of a stretch in the top of the hip. And breathe. It's funny because I was always like, why do I have to do this one? I have the standing half moon, but it has different areas that it activates. So when I'm ready to come up from that, I just come to my center. Again, bring the hands down and bring that leg in. They can do shifting side to side to neutralize. And again, this one will also be towards the end of your practice because you're on your way down. So you can do it after a forward bend. You can come out of child's pose into this one as a good sequencing option. So if I was here in child's pose, I sit up, I'm ready to go there. And then I'm ready to come up into my knees, but make the time for padding if it's required. And then that. So let's try it. I'm going to use the washroom on BRB. All right, let's go into the gate pose. Finally, at the end of the day, I remembered not to put my microphone in the bathroom. Oh, God. I'll have to listen to that recording. Nothing too incriminating happened in the. All right, so let's come to this kneeling position. Check if you need to double up your mat or have a blanket under your knees. So coming up and bringing the hands to the hips. We'll take one leg out slightly, so you can start by widening the knees and then extending one leg along the floor. Having your foot in any position that it lands in that's comfortable, that helps you feel stable. I'm going to rotate through the glutes, tilt my tailbone down, and allow myself to lengthen up, extending through the chest, extending through the back. Hold and breathe. As I bear down into the foot, feel that stretch in the inner thigh. And even see about wiggling your foot out a little farther, taking that full length of the leg. Lengthen. Inhale and breathe. Press up from the crown of the head. Press down your back leg. Press the top of the foot into the floor. So maybe squeezing the glute helps activate. So your back foot, press the top of the foot into the floor. Feel that foot there. Not sleeping, but active. Inhale and exhale here. So slowly, the opposite arm to the leg that's extended, I'll inhale it up and overhead. Slowly, I'll let my arm slide down the leg and then tilt over to the side, Ardha Chandrasana or half moon style. Staying in line with your leg in your hip, so not tilting too far to the front and not tilting too far to the back. Staying center as though you're between two panes of glass. Squeeze the glute of the leg that's down, press the hips forward, stretch through that hip. Breathe. Bring the shoulder down the back. So make sure the arm is not up in the ear. Bring the shoulder blade down. From here, roll the shoulder blade down. No, down. Yeah. yeah, right down. Yeah, see this versus this. Press the chest forward. Reach upward with the hand, bring your body back to center, bring that hand down. Hinge from the hips as you come to the front slightly, bring your fingertips to the floor, toe block, and bring that leg in. From this position, sometimes I like to also have that leg extended and then just turn it a little as my counter stretch. So a little rotation through that leg if it's there for you. And then we'll get ready to do our other side. So it has quite a bit of effort, more than it looks like, actually. So from here, extending your opposite leg outward, hands on the hips, stabilize. Press your creases of your hips forward, flatten out the front of the pelvis, lengthen, tailbone goes down. See if you can walk that leg out a little bit. Take the full length of your leg and then pull yourself center, engage, hold, lengthen, breathe. You can press from the back foot, press that top of the back foot and the leg into the floor. For me, I find I'm squeezing my glute a little bit to really engage that leg. Hold and breathe. And then slowly begin to slide your arm down the leg as you inhale the opposite arm upward into half moon position, or just bringing the hand just coming over to the crown of your head, kind of lines up with the crown of your head. And if it's there for you, turning the head and looking towards your extended leg. If it's not necessary, you can continue to look towards the front. Be aware of rotating the body too far front or too far back. Keep the sternum pointing straight forward. Feel that stretch through the inner thigh. 2 more breaths. And inhale, lengthen from that arm, coming back to center. Other arm slides up the leg. Let that hand come down gently and slowly. Hinge from the hips as you bring the hands to the floor or a block in front of you, and bring that leg in. You can extend the leg behind you and add some rotation. And it's that. So, okay, we just 2 for 1. Had. And don't worry, this week actually, and over the next weeks and for Ramadan, I'm creating the archive. I have like a third of them done already. So I'm creating the archive of me teaching all the poses. Like, yes, we have the videos, but it's not the ideal angle always. So I have really like a nice angle against that wall. It's super clear. So it's all of those videos are coming into the hard drive or the Google Drive. And then you'll have them if you ever need to reference back. But you got it right here in the manual also. Yeah, if someone has a knee injury, knee pain, omit that. They can go into seated or seated in a chair or standing. And being seated is not a thing. Oh, yeah, perform sitting in a chair. That's what I said. Yeah. So if we look at the next page, the press points. So that foot, going the extended foot into the floor, the knee in the floor, the shoulder blade of the arm that's up, or no, that we're not at that one yet, sorry. We're both of the shoulder blades, putting the chest forward. I would also add sternum to there. Fingertips, la. Cross that out. Benefits, lateral side stretch, aids in digestion, opens the chest. So it's quite strong, actually, in the alignment, that side body bend. Serious shoulder injury, serious knee injury. And truly, those are contraindications for every pose. So that's not even a contraindication so much as it's a common problem. But every pose, that's that. So when we go to the half circle, mandalasana, a mandala, and then just cut off the sana and a mandala, so a circle, you know. That's what I put here. Follow instructions for gait. So it's very similar when you have warrior 2 and then you go into the exalted warrior. You're just adding an arm variation. The pose itself is already a variation of gait. Everything's pretty much the same. In this picture, I'm looking up at my hand. A good general rule that I like to give to students, if I try not to encourage the neck twisting, especially now, like when I did my training, guys, this was the science. So it's changed since I took my original training. And not to force the neck, and not because we had these absolute rules in yoga, and then people are getting injured and injured and injured. So doctors looked at it and they're like, maybe we shouldn't be doing that. And now we have a corrective exercise. And now we have mobility exercise. Like when yoga was just coming through the West, they had like calisthenics, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they had yoga and Pilates and aerobics. You know, so there wasn't all of this like drive for natural movement, animal movement, corrective exercise, ergonomics wasn't in a world at that time. But one alignment thing that I like to do, it's kind of from dance. Like when I bring my arm up, I think of like a string from my here, and then I'll like kind of position my arm around that and pull back. So I'll kind of like, I won't let my arm come past that center line of my head. I really try to find where that is. Kind of this like feeling here. And I'll keep it there. Because if I turn my head up, the hands are right there. If I turn my head here straight, the hand's still right there. Hello. So I can just turn and look up or down. It's still, I can feel my own hand above my head. Energetics, body energetics. So learning where that feeling is, learning where your body is in space and what it feels like for your own proprioception. So again, proprioception is a really interesting, good word. You should have it. It's like the knowing of where your body starts and where your body ends. And it's a very useful skill to develop as you do your healing journey, or if you're thinking of guiding others. So we did it. All right, let's put our books to the side. Have 3 blocks with you. Have 3 blocks to the side.
Are we going to stretch?
Oh yeah.
Can we decrease the lights?
Yeah, oh yeah, we're going to. Don't worry. Yeah, get your blocks. I was getting up just to do those lights. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry, girl. I know how to set the vibe. Yeah. I am vibes machine. Vibes machine. I hate overhead light actually, but I just know if we sit for hours and the dim light will be more melting, you know? Oh, yeah, you got them? No, take them. Yeah, have 3. So we're gonna do that nice supported, triple supported fish. All right, let's come to standing. So standing at the front of our space, just stand naturally. Shake your arms, allow your body to be wide, have width through your body. The collarbones are broad, everything's just hanging down low. So from here, I'm gonna even heel toe my feet out a little bit wider, soften through my knees, and then just let myself melt down. You can have the hands slide down the thighs, slowly, slowly take it down. Your elbows can connect with your thighs. And just taking it down until the elbows rest on your thighs. Stretch your back here. Knees can be softly bent or super bent. Up to you. Breathe, release the head. Allow the head to be heavy. You can stay here and continue to breathe, or if you'd like to, if it's there for you, allow the hands to release to the floor, ragdoll position, just hanging. You can also grab the opposite elbow and just hang here. Here, you're welcome to keep a bend in the knees, or if it feels suitable, straightening one leg at a time, adding a little bit of an 8 shape to the hips, stretching first one leg and then the other leg with the loops of your 8. Always breathing. Inhale and exhale. Release your hands to the floor. Bend the knees more deeply. Press into the feet and we'll slowly roll up. Rolling up to standing. And just stand, extend, feel strong. Inhale and exhale. Feel that circulation through the back and the backs of the legs. And from here, let's step the feet together. You can start with feet together or hip distance apart. And here I'm going to do my toes slightly turned in. I'm going to bring the tailbone down, squeeze my shoulders together, press my palms actually to keep my back down, and extend the chest forward. Here I'm going to look up where the wall and the ceiling joins. Inhale and exhale here. Lengthen, pull up through the calves, pull up through the legs, adjust through your feet if necessary. Breathe. Inhale, press the hips slightly forward, lengthen upward. Take the eyes looking up above you. 2 more breaths here. Hold, fully engaged, nice and strong. Squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, close through your abdominals, bring the rib cage back to center, and you can release the arms, relax the legs, stand for 2 breaths. For next, we'll go into our tree pose, a standing balancing pose. I'll turn one foot out gently and just check my balance for the day. So I really want my thigh of the foot that's turned out pointing forward. And for tree, I'll start by having the foot turned out and hands to the hips. So this can be option one. If your balance is feeling shaky today, be sure to check into your supporting foot and that it's on the floor. If it's there for you, bring the foot up to the ankle, below the knee, or above the knee. If you bring it to the above the knee position, then you are able to press the foot into the leg and the leg presses into the foot by engaging that back glute. Have a drishti point or a point of focus, a straight line that you can run your vision up and down to help with balance. Lengthen out from the crown of the head. Rotate, squeeze the glute of the leg that's rotating open, no matter the position of your leg. Hold and breathe. Use that drishti point. If it's there for you, you can bring your arms through prayer, thumbs to the sternum. You can hold hands here. And if you feel inclined, arms can float up, press up rather, through steeple pose all the way up. And hold. And breathe. We'll take 2 breaths here. Ground into that foot. Feel the weight shifting gently from side to side. No sudden movement. Stay grounded, stay calm. Root into the earth. 1 more breath. Inhale, exhale, begin to close, bringing the hands down through center, through that line. Bring the thumbs to the sternum. And you can bring that knee forward and gently lower the leg. Release the arms, release the leg, give yourself a shake. And we'll take it over to the other side. I just made a new drishti point today that I didn't use before. I'm using the braid of the, I was like, what am I going to look at? But I was like, oh, I never used that one. Discovery. So prepping the body, grounding down, just feel your feet on either side. Tree, almost more than the other ones, I'll take that time to like shift my weight through the foot. And then I'll turn that leg outward. So again, check. Our balance is different on each side, so just check in with yourself. And as I turn that leg out, I'm going to ground and tighten into my supporting leg. So check your balance for today. If it's there for you, the toe can come here, here below the knee, or if you want to bring it up, you're welcome to try that today. This is not my good side. If you have the leg higher, remember that there's this press happening, this oppositional press. Rotate, open the leg, open that hip, hold here, breathe. It's my bad side. Hold and breathe. And then we can bring hands to the heart, hands to the sternum. Press the thumbs into the sternum, press the sternum into the thumbs. If it's there for you, bring the arms upward, steeple pose, or any other shape that you like. Feel that leg working. Let's take 2 breaths here. Shoulders slide down the back, chest reaches forward. Always trying to hold our stability. Stay strong. 1 more breath. No sudden movement. Inhale and exhale, bring your hands back down through center. And then turning that knee forward and release that foot to the floor. Shake your hands, shake your legs. Stand and receive. Feel the work in each leg. Standing pose work is so intense and cool. And slowly, let's bring ourselves, let's stay, I'm sorry. Let's open the feet wider than hip distance apart. And from here, we'll bring the hands on the hips. I'm gonna soften my knees and then take the chest forward, sending my sits bones back. coming into wide leg forward fold. So just like our other forward bend, when you get to your halfway, you can bring your elbows to the thighs. And let's just take a few breaths, climatize here. Stretching through the backs of the thighs. Inhale, exhale. You're welcome to stay here, but if you would like to, you can straighten more through the legs and taking it all the way down. Same options as forward fold. You can grab on the opposite elbow or have the hands on the floor. Just release through the back. We'll take 4 breaths here at any time. If the pressure of being forward is too much in your sinus, your head or neck, you can always come back up to your halfway point. From here, let's take our time. Slowly walk the hands over to the right. You can allow your right toes to point a little bit more towards the right if they go naturally. Stretching, breathing. Inhale. As you exhale, allow the body to fall towards center, walking the arms back towards center. Take a moment, center, breathe. Inhale and exhale, center, and slowly begin your time over to the other side. So walking all the way to the other side. Inhale. And exhale, allow yourself to come back to center. So from here, my hands are on the floor in front of me. I'll heel and toe my feet together, bringing the feet together, and bend your knees deeply and begin to roll up. Press the feet into the floor, rolling slowly, slowly, slowly. So from here, let's come to the front of our space. Take your time. Inhale and exhale here. Mountain pose. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale them to the side as you bring it down, bending, hinging from the hips, bending from the knees. Hands come down, and I'm going to bring myself down one leg and then the other leg at a time. So I'll have my blocks. And I'll bring, let's bring the left leg forward. So we're coming into a lunge position. Option 1 for the lunge is we use the knee and we come up straight. And we're going to investigate this hip crease by squeezing and coming forward. What I want to do is just feel length. So pressing, I don't need to go way forward, but just like flatten out this crease. It usually has the bend in it. So think, even if you want to take your hands and run them along your body, be like, yo, body, I'm opening here. You can have a hand to support the low back, just like we do at our back bend, and hold. I'm using the hamstring of my front leg. It's like I'm pulling myself forward or pulling that leg back. It's engaged and really helping me with my balance. 2 more breaths. Lengthen, squeeze that glute, turn the tail downward, stretch through the front of the hip. Inhale, exhale, and now add that crease to the hip. Here you might want to come down on your blocks. Extend your front leg forward. Here you can keep the foot pointed or you can flex the foot. I'm making a stretch through that front leg, the back of the front leg. If I point my toe in this position, you might feel a stretch through the top of the ankle, the front and the top of the foot. And you can even move between the two forms if you're finding something valuable in each of them. And just breathe. Bring that leg, the front leg, back in slightly. Stabilize, and then bring it in behind. Take any counter stretch that you need, or we'll switch sides. So bringing that leg front. I don't know how this is doing this. Off. Stop. Stop. Ah. You're evil. There. I don't know how that did that. Okay, other leg. So here we're pressing that crease of the hip forward, squeezing that back glute, and I'm turning my tail under so you really can feel that. And this one you can again lengthen, letting the body know what you want to open. And I'm engaged through the hamstring of the front leg. I'm like pulling my legs together. There's a tension. Just careful not to cramp in your hamstring. And breathe. Squeeze, turn that tailbone down. One more breath. Inhale and exhale, and gently begin to pull back. Your block can be there. Slide that foot forward a little bit, and you can either point or flex the foot. Several breaths here. Long flowing breath. So investigate where you feel sensation through the leg, through the back of the leg, or if you point it through the top of the ankle, or maybe you want to mix of both, so moving through them. Just be sure you're breathing. And begin to slide that front leg in and bring that knee in. And you can bring it back and just sit back. Just shift a bit here. So here we'll go into putting the toes down. This is from Yin Yoga. This is called Seat or Seiza, and just simply sitting on the toes. If this is very difficult or painful, is it for either of you? So if it's too intense for the toes, you can just, the point is toes. So you can just work by putting the stress on them that without your full weight on them like that. You can just kind of like use this to stretch the toes. And you can even go against and in and against and in. So rolling through the toes. And then taking your other side. And it's one also, when working our way into this final seated position, it's one that you can also have a rolled towel. Maybe not necessarily a block here, might be too high, because the objective is to get that toes to the ground and stretch the bottoms of the feet. That's what we're doing here. So having this like a block or a towel in there for a little support under this space can be really helpful for that. So into our, from our yin land. So let's come into seated with the feet together. So going into a nest position. So from here, bring the feet together. They can be close or far away. It's up to you. So if you like the more of the stretch this way, it's fine. And if you like more of the stretch this way, it's fine. Just take the body forward. We're going into yin land. If you like to have the block, this is a really nice mod right here. And then rest. So here, I just have to get my timer. So I'll time it for us. Allow the knees to fall open to either side. Allow the upper body to rest onto the blocks or rest with gravity. And breathe, stretch through the back ribs. See if there's any room for you to walk the sits bone. See if there's any more space or flexibility available. Stretch a little deeper. Inhale, stretching the ribs. Keep the breath fluid. Feel the tissues of the body yielding to time and gravity. Feel that line of tension wherever it is in your body. Applying stress and time and effort to gradually open the body. Inhale and exhale here, and slowly use your arms to press you upward. Start your journey upward. Taking that tension off the inner thighs, coming all the way up. As we come up, we'll bring the hands to behind the back, or you can help your knees point towards the ceiling. I'll bring my hands behind the back and I'll just allow my hips rocking side to side. I personally like a wider for better rotation through the hips. And just rock side to side. So next we're going to do the half dragonfly, which is one leg extended. And then from here, let's bring ourselves back onto our bottom. We're going to bring one leg in and one leg straight. So you have two options here. I can stay facing the center of my body and just like tip myself over to the side, also bringing my hand behind my back. So remember that two panes of glass. The body's not going forward, it's not going back. If I choose this one, I'm going up and over to the side. I can even get a stretch through under my jaw and my neck. If that's not a suitable stretch and you want to work more in your back, you can turn towards the leg and then take yourself towards, again, using this block and then moving the block over time or not. It's all good. So allow yourself to melt into the stretch. Breathe into the side body. It's like gravity. Decide what is your pose today. Every time we inhale, feel the body inflate, feel the rib cage stretch. Every time you exhale, see if you can melt a little deeper into the form. See if the body yields to time and gravity. Inhale. Feel that stretch along the line of tension. Exhale. Allow your torso to start to fall towards center. You can just let your blocks like drop out and let yourself roll towards the front. You can have a block here in the front. We'll stay here for a moment. Breathe. And using the hands, pressing into the floor, rolling yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Take your sweet, sweet time. Allow your spine to totally unfurl, totally lengthen as you come to center. Inhale and exhale fully here. I'm going to take my extended leg, slowly pull it in, and switch legs. So take your time. Decide if you're going side bend or if you're turning towards the leg and doing it that way. Find your line of tension and allow yourself to melt over that leg. So this, the half dragonfly sequence, each side can have stretching in the back of the leg, through the back, the QL, the hip, the low back, through the neck also. Can have a lot of these happening simultaneously, or you can focus on one. It just really comes down to the angle and the small rotation that you give to yourself. So experiment and melt. Let time and gravity open the binds in the body. Inhale, exhale. See if you yield a little more. Enjoying the stretch in the body, using it as therapy, using it as a release, releasing stress, releasing tension. Inhale, exhale. See if the body yields to time and gravity. Just another couple breaths for this side. And inhale. And slowly, as you're ready, allow the body to roll towards center. Exhale, come forward. Slowly pressing the hands into the floor. Take your time. Come up super slow-mo. Unfurling the spine, rolling the spine. And coming all the way up, lengthen. Let the breath fill your body, help it lengthen. Next, we'll open that leg, send it along the floor. So now both legs are extended. And so for full dragonfly, rolling forward, remember all the prep you can do in this position, which is moving the flesh of the thighs and the butt back. You can also sit up on a cushion or a block in this position to give you that roll forward. We really want to have that tension in the inner thigh. And then from here, set up your blocks. And then take it forward, take your time. You can even just take it forward, take a breath. Inhale, exhale, let yourself go a little more forward. So again, not going all the way to your max right away. And breathe and hold. There's a few options here. You can allow your feet to flop and with no engagement. But if you press into the heels and turn your toes towards the ceiling, you'll feel more resistance and tension in the inner thigh if that's what you want today. So choose your own adventure or move between the two of them. And stretch and breathe. Let the upper body rest as you breathe. Really putting tension on those adductors, the inner thighs. And also through the hamstrings, through the back, and the tissue surrounding the hips. Inhale, exhale, see if the body has yielded at all to time and gravity. Breathe, feel stretching in the back, stretching through the inner thighs. See if there's any tilting of the pelvis that can happen here. What happens if you squeeze the glutes? Can you roll any deeper, any forward? Small, slow-mo movements, nothing dramatic. Breathe and melt. Breathe and stretch into the back. Inhale, stretching the body. Lengthen slightly, exhale, melt. Bring a little power to your next 3 breaths. Use the inhale to stretch you from the inside out. Four more breaths. One more breath. Putting our hands on the floor. Slowly begin your journey upward. It can take a few breaths. We were here for a few minutes. No rush. So start by pushing back. I even start to roll my tail under to take the pressure off the inner thigh. But take your time. Let the body unravel itself. So gently using your arms to help the legs come in, go slow motion melting. We'll bring the feet to in front of us, and then we'll take 4 breaths here. Take your time with some counter moves. I'm doing windshield wipers. And just explore that shape and concept and see what works for you. So we were in that one for 5 minutes. And so let's turn our bodies so that we're in this shape still, but we're like with our mat lengthwise. And I'm going to just take my knees to one side, bring one a little closer. Here I'm going to start my journey backwards. You can use the blocks back on your arm. So we're going into quadricep stretch. You could also take a cushion or one of those big guys and lay your body onto it. Do you want me to bring you anything? Would you like one of these? Here. Take it. Do you want one, Phoebe? Are you good? Okay. So yeah, find your way down. So the main points, this is another great example of let the foot goes where it goes. Here, for my own self, I was in there. I tucked my foot. The top of my foot is on the floor. This is a comfortable position for me. If it's not comfortable for you and your foot does this or this or this or something else, allow it. And then just bringing, really we want to target a stretch into the quadricep muscle. Your alternate foot, the leg that's not subject to stretch, you can keep it, the foot bent and the knee bent and the foot on the floor, or you can have it laying to the side like in a knee down twist. It's going to provide different kind of stretch. So explore this, the quadricep stretch. So be aware of any pressure on the knee. There will be some, but again, remember we want to stay away from acute pain, discomfort, meshi. What we're doing is this inherently uncomfortable, has discomfort, stretching through the tissues, but acute pain, we want to stay away from this. Breathe into the tension. See if there's any change to the stretch, any change to the line of tension. Inhale and exhale fully here. Four more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. So I'm going in between of timing, which you guys have no idea of the timing. And then I'm kind of letting you know that it will end soon with that amount of breaths. Slowly begin to roll to the side that has no tension. So I'm going to allow myself to roll out of the line of tension, taking the path of least resistance. Let that leg lengthen along the floor. Moving the ankle, moving slowly through the leg. Remember, when we're yinning, we don't do too much counter stretch because we want that rebound, we call it. We want the fascia to kind of stay in that new shape that we made. Take your time here and then slowly bring your legs to feet on the ground. So my knees are bent, feet on the ground. And I'll do a couple of windshield wipers here. So like the other side, let your knees fall now to your opposite side and then get into that position again. So you might need to bring that foot in and tuck it a little bit if you want more aggressive stretch. And then, or even coming up a little bit from there, and then slowly taking yourself down. Ooh. Yeah, take your time to get into that. I don't know about you guys, but this side's way different. I was like, what's that? And resting. Breathe into that line of tension. Make sure, again, there's no acute stinging, pain, sensation in the knee. Breathe, let the body open slowly with tension, stress, time, and effort. Four more breaths for this side. As you complete your four breaths, begin to lengthen that leg slightly or roll away from the tension. Just allow yourself to bring the tension off and lengthen that leg. Allow for that feeling of the rebound. Lengthening both legs along the floor. Slowly pulling your legs in, bending the knees, placing the feet on the floor. From here, we'll go into the figure four stretch. I'm going to cross one ankle and then pull that knee in. So stretching along the outside of the leg, the IT band, the glute. I even apply pressure to my bent knee with my elbow and press that knee away for more tension. So this elbow is pressing. And I like slow-mo rocking here. And breathe. You can also have a block behind your head for a little more comfort. Breathe into that hip, breathe into that outer thigh. A lot of fascia, connective tissue is running, holding our body when it's standing, but also becoming overly tight. We did a lot of glutes engagement today, so trying to get that stretch up into the glute if you can. Feel where your body needs it. Four more breaths. As you complete your fourth breath, you can release that tension. I'm using my hand to take the ankle off of my knee and just set the foot down. You can take a moment, both feet on the floor. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly we'll cross the opposite ankle to the other knee. Same thing for the other side. Take your time. Coming into that form. Figure 4 stretch. Gentle rocking if you like it. Deep stretch. Notice if one side is a little more tighter than the other. Breathe into the tension. Inhale and exhale. And 4 more breaths. As you complete your 4 breaths, take your time to do that. You can release the ankle, release the tension, release the legs. Placing both feet down onto the floor. So before we started, I said have 3 blocks close by to you. So we're going to do a supported fish pose. You're welcome to try before we go, to try 2 blocks stacked under the upper back, which is a super high lift. And you might want one, if you do the 2 blocks, you might want one for behind your head. So try with the 2. If it's like too lifted, too much, you can take it down to the 1. So go ahead and try that on, see which one you're going to go with. And then if you keep the 2, you might definitely want to block behind your head, possibly. So try it out for a couple breaths. You're under no obligation to stay here, but just I was mentioning earlier, as a supported, super supported fish, usually we do it with one block, and this variation is with the 2 blocks. And you can see it's quite a bit more lift and opening through the chest and the back. If you choose to go to 1 block, you can also take a second block and put it under your low back. So I take it to my low back, so it's almost helping my tail curl between my legs. And then the block adds a little pressure. Here you can extend the legs along the floor or have them bent. See what's nice for you to relax. Arms can be open out to either side. Another breath or two here with the blocks as support. And you're super welcome to leave the blocks if you have them there. But now you're super welcome also to take them out and go into your final resting shape. So coming into your final resting shape, maybe a new body shape. Feel all of that work through the body. Anyway, if you have another layer you'd like, that was a nice time. Rest, feeling supported by the floor. Feeling supported by the floor, let's allow ourselves to rest a little more deeply. We're going to move bottom to top with our awareness, starting in the feet. So we're going to bring contraction to the feet. Maybe you're going to flex them, maybe you're going to point them. So bring energy to the feet, hold it tight, 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 squeeze, and relax, release. Moving the awareness up to our calf and lower leg. Maybe you're going to move the feet as a part of this also, it's fine. So tighten through the calf, through the lower leg, again from flexing or extending or just squeezing, squeeze, 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 and drop the body into the floor. Moving up into the knees, the thighs, that lift of the quads. So let's tighten through the thighs, squeeze the quads, lift, 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 and squeeze. Let's hold for 4, for 3, for 2, and relax on the floor. Feel the body widen. Feel the body held by the floor. Moving the awareness up into our pelvis, into our glutes. Squeeze the buns, squeeze. Feel your body lift off the floor even a little bit. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And release, relax into the floor. Inhale and exhale. Bringing our awareness into our abdomen, chest, front of body, back, so the whole torso. Think of squeezing through the abs, squeeze the ribs, that tight feeling on your exhale. Squeeze, 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 hold. Still feeling the abs from this morning's work. And relax. Bringing our awareness into our hands, arms, shoulders, squeeze them, maybe spreading the fingers wide or making fists, tension through the arms, tension through the muscles, tension through the shoulders, squeeze, 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 and release. Finally, our neck, our face, our head. We're gonna squeeze the head, squeeze the face, maybe furrow the brow, make a crazy face, open the mouth wide, close it tightly. I can't see what you're doing. Make something, hold it, squeeze the head so much that it shakes. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Allow your body to melt into the floor. On your next inhale, make it a big one. Stretch through the body. Bringing movement to your fingers, toes, maybe a little wave. Bring a little awareness to your body and back into the room. Anchor the breath, anchor the body, and slowly take your time. You can roll over onto your left side. And just snuggle yourself on your left side for a moment. And have the legs extended or have them bent and be in a little ball in the fetal position. Inhale and exhale here. And pressing your hands into the floor, assist yourself up to comfortable seated position. Take your time. So sitting and scanning through the body. Just notice any feelings, sensations, temperature. Inhale and exhale. And again. And opening our hands out to either side, walking the fingers outward. Lengthen the chest up, stretch. And we'll inhale one arm up, little side bend and round through. And take yourself over to your other side when you're ready. Inhale that other arm up. And circle through. One more for each side, moving with your rhythm, breathing that arm up. Over as much as it goes to the other side, rounding through, taking that stretch through the ribs and back. Keep it moving. And completing and coming back to center. Arms again out to the side. This time we'll inhale them straight up. And palms together, exhale, hands to the heart, thumbs to the sternum. Take a moment here. And just take a moment in gratitude for our ability to practice, our ability to improve ourselves, to add to our life. And then knowing that you're walking away from your weekend, having done amazing work and personal development, the best kind of work that there is out there. An investment in yourself is never time wasted, never money wasted. So thank yourself for giving yourself this gift. Inhale and exhale. And namaste. And just take your time, many little melty movements. And take your time, we're finished. How long do you think was your relaxation? 40? The whole thing?
Yes.
Oh, I thought, no, just the relaxation at the end. Yeah. When we came from the knees, just. We were 11 minutes. The whole practice, hour and 10. Melting the time away. Yeah. How do you guys feel? I was like, you know what? They deserve a treat. We had a lot this weekend. Yeah, we had a lot this weekend. Yin is so good just for like integration. So if you go through like anything, just like go yin it out after. Like, what just happened? Like, yin it out process helps your body, like, it gives us that permission to slow down. Because sometimes when we're still in the active poses, we're so engaged in being present. It's not a problem, it's good, but it doesn't give us this other space. It's a totally different mood and tone to be inside of. So again, everything has different applications. Like I was saying, yin is an application, hatha is an application, calisthenics is an application, strength training is an application, and we need them all, Yani. We need to rotate with everything. So I'll stop talking to you and let you enjoy some silence. And khalas, we're done for today. As usual, I will load the videos in the Google Drive. Give me a few days for that. There's currently in the Google Drive plenty. If you're like, I have to keep working, there's plenty there to keep working. So yeah, take your time and we're done. And I was thinking about Pearl. I'm going to bring her inside tonight. I don't want her to be sick. I'll be so sad if something happens to her. I'm like, oh, my Pearl. I was in the relaxation and I was gonna make it shorter because I wanted to go get pro. And I was like, no, we have to do the relax. I'm like, pro. Again, what's going on in your yoga teacher's head? A lot. A lot. I try not to. Sometimes you have sick dogs and lazy employees and a host of things to deal with. You're just lucky that you guys are not parents at this point.
Yeah.